I'm Ahmedabad forms a Cindy of 10 random people, and that's a group. You are supposed to be with your Cindy for the rest of the year.
What was the average salary?
So I grew up in a very simple middle class household. My father is still in railways. When I was a kid, I wanted to become CEO. I'm a people person, I'm a communicator, I'm a inspirer, motivator, I'm not a tax person.
The MBA you did a 1 year program at IIM Ahmedabad. So why didn't you do the 2 year program?
My only issue with I'm Ahmedabad was that it was a dry state.
एक और एग्जाम क्यों दिया? Why CAT?
And traveling made me realize that maybe we are really not meant to be sitting in cubicles for 14 hours a day. Microsoft said this that this is the most academically inclined 1 year MBA program we have come across. But when I got into IIM Ahmedabad, I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is it for me.
हाँ यार, यही करते हैं और कुछ तो लाइफ में होगा नहीं, MBA ही करते हैं.
Welcome to the show, Bhavna, and we are so happy to have you here. I am Ahmedabad alumni, and then you're doing something entrepreneurial, and we like to have entrepreneurs on the batch. Miglani funds a lot of them, and I'm an entrepreneur myself, so we can empathize with that a lot. So let's start with tell us about you. Tell us about how was growing up like, how was family like, and were you the only child, and what kind of family did you have? Did your parents have a lot of money to send you to tuitions, or how was it like growing up?
Thank you so much, Manish and Vikas, for doing this and for having me. It's really great. What you guys are doing is fantastic and very inspiring, also. Um, for my family, so I grew up in a very simple middle class household. My father is still in railways. He's chief material manager right now. He's CMM in the Western Railways. He's retiring at the end of this month, in fact. So I grew up typically, but I've always considered myself privileged, even though I grew up in middle class, because I felt I had education at my disposal, and I have a younger brother who's 4 years younger to me. And I've spent most of my life in South Bombay, 26 years, where I was living in a railway colony, Badwar Park. So I've grown up in a nice cushioned apartment, but not with a lot of money because government quarters. So that was my upbringing, and the focus of my upbringing was education. Like nothing. Like for my father, he didn't come from a great financial background, so for him to break the shackles at from where he came and where he reached, he almost topped India in the UPSC exam, and
Oh wow.
so yeah, so and he came went into railways. So it's a great shift for him. So he literally, uprooted his family and brought them up, and so that's what my upbringing was always focused on education. That's what's going to take you, a long way. So yeah, I've been academically very inclined since I was a child, like into reading and just novels and books, and that was my world primarily when I was growing up.
So your father did IAS. He was an IAS officer.
Yeah, IES, Indian Engineering Services.
Okay, but if somebody tops in All India UPSC, then they become IAS, don't they?
Yeah, so he topped in IES. So the first thing you
Okay,
can choose is railway that time. Yeah.
okay, okay. So यूपीएससी एक एग्जाम नहीं होता है. These are two different exams. For IAS exam is different, IES exam is
Yes. So
different.
specifically for the administrative services,
Okay,
and according to ranks, you get IPS or IFS. IES is a separate exam only for engineers
okay,
if you want to go down
okay,
that path. Yeah.
okay. Got it, got it. So, so you grew up in South Mumbai. How was Mumbai when you were growing up? Very different from today's.
South Bombay is still the same. Honestly, I still go
Okay,
visit Colaba. My parents are still there till the end of this
okay.
month. It's still the same. It's very quiet. It's still very peaceful. Not much has
Oh
changed in
wow.
terms of infrastructure or yeah, it's still the same. I feel. I think
Oh,
Colaba Causeway was
okay.
not there, but Marine Drive has got renovated and become fancy and all. But yeah, I grew up there only. It's not much has changed.
Oh wow, that's very interesting to hear because I visited Mumbai 25 years ago when I just graduated from IIM Bangalore. And I would have imagined that in 25 years, the whole city would have just taken up a new life of its own. So that hasn't happened.
No, no. So there are pockets, right? We were just talking to Manish. Like I stay in Powai now, and Powai was not pretty much non-existent. Apart from Hiranandani 20 years back, that has upcome a lot and developed a lot.
Hmm.
But other parts, I think apart from the population, nothing much has changed. But last 15 years, there's a lot of construction going on everywhere. Every road is dug up, but otherwise, yeah, it's still
Hmm.
the life and the spirit of Mumbai is still the same. It's exactly how it
Very
was
nice.
always.
Very nice. So tell me about your college. Where did you go to college, and how did you like decide to do IIM?
So my graduation was from HR College, Churchgate. I used to stay in
Yes.
Kolaba and go just like where my entire 22 years were restricted to Grant Road, Churchgate only because I was doing my CA also along with my graduation. So didn't attend much of college. In HR, out of 200 graduates in a two classes, hardly 20 or 30 attended class. Actually. So we all were just used to go to like CA lectures. So I was not sure what I wanted to do post 10th, but I knew what I did not want to do. So I didn't want to pursue science. It was not my cup of tea. My father, I was very creative, so my father gave me an option of fashion designing also or some designing, interior designing. But I always wanted something reputed and something worth considering. So CA was like the ultimate option left. It's not that I was inclined towards accounts or something. No, mathematically I was good. I was always good with finance and stuff, but I just took up CA at that point of time because commerce, what you don't have many options left, right? So CA was like, oh, I can do this. So that's how CA happened. Didn't have much of a college life because our 3 years was spent in attending morning coaching classes in JK Shah, then going to college for 2 hours, if at all, and then going for articleship for 9 hours, 8 10 hours, and then coming back home and crashing. That's probably a 3 years of my college life. That's how it was.
So Bhavna, tell us your typical day. I mean, this is sounding very interesting. Tell us about your typical day, right from the morning till the night, uh, doing college, doing CA, articleship, and everything. What time did you wake up?
Yeah, sure. I used to wake up by 5:30, quarter to six, get ready just to go to JK Shah, which I used to take a bus to Grant Road, attend classes till 10:30, take the train, go to Santa Cruz because my first client, I was primarily doing audit of Edelweiss Broking House. It's a group company of 22 group companies. So 2.5 years most I was there only. My articleship was from BDO Consulting. Hari Bhakti, at that point of time, it had tied up with Hari Bhakti.
Hmm.
So I was in Santa Cruz, Kalina for primarily most of my articleship. I used to come back by 10:30, 11, crash, and
Wow.
that's it. It was just repeat, repeat.
So what
Yeah,
about
that's
college?
how it
Did you ever
was.
study for college, or was it at the exam time only?
It's very funny. So we used to have blacklists in our college, and we used to have toppers list also in our college. So anybody who had attendance less than 7-8% used to be on the blacklist, and there used to be a toppers list. I was on both every quarter for 3 years. I used to be on the blacklist. I used to be the toppers. So surprisingly, they used to call parents of both the blacklisters and the
Hmm.
toppers to college. So I saw my name on the blacklist and I was like, oh shit. So I went to the classroom to get my report card. My father had come with me. Very funny incident. And my teacher gave him a very glare, like, your daughter's never come to college. We never see her. We don't know who is she. And she was finding the report card and it's not there. And she's like, I don't have it. And I was like, I'm also on the toppers list. So she's like, okay, go and meet the vice principal. So then I used to go and meet them. My dad used to come and meet the principal then. So it was quite funny. Yeah, but 3 years just went by in a blur. That's how my college was. I used to try to take part in some extracurricular activities, but honestly, I was just too exhausted most of the time.
So you must be gifted, like to not go to college, to be on the toppers list. You must have a high IQ. That means, right?
No, no, BCom, you don't need to study a lot, honestly. It's not very high. And honestly, we were covering so much syllabus in our CA, IPCC, that our entire till third year BCom, most of it was already covered, you know. So that's why we didn't have to study a lot. So
I mean,
yeah,
if you're doing CA, then BCom is a subset of in terms of syllabus.
it is. Absolutely, absolutely. It's exactly a subset. And CA was the like the umbrella, overarching umbrella of the studies. So yeah, not much. Correct. That's
So
how it
did you
was.
finish your CA by the time you finished your BCom, or did you have to take some more time to finish CA after you finished your
Yeah.
BCom?
So I gave both the groups in the first attempt, but I missed only one paper in the second group by few marks because we used to have a concept of aggregate also and individual papers also. So you had to pass in individual papers and score aggregate to become a CA. So that's how it was. And so I had to give the second attempt. Second attempt, I gave only one paper because I had exemption. So if you get a 60 plus in any paper, you don't have to give the paper again. So I just gave one exam in the second attempt. And the funny thing is, the May 13 was the pass percentage of CA was 18%. And November 13, the batch I cleared my CA, the pass percentage was the lowest in ICI history. It was 2.5%. So
Oh my
I
God.
was like, why couldn't it like pass in the first attempt? Like, you know, but yeah, it was, thank god I did, because I got very academics. That was my first taste of failure in my life. I had never failed before, so it shook me to the core. I was depressed, I will not lie. I was depressed for 4 months, pulled myself out of it and somehow gave the second attempt. I had decided if I don't clear this time, I am not continuing. I can't be the girl, you know, who gives 7 attempts, 8 attempts, and your 4 years of your life have gone by, you know, you don't realize it. So MBA was always on my cards. I never wanted to do CA when I told you, but if you had asked me what I wanted to become, you know, grow up and become when I was a kid, I wanted to become CEO. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know what came with it. I didn't know the stress, tension. I just wanted to become a CEO of a large company. So I knew that MBA I had to do because CEO ke liye you need to do an MBA. You need a management degree. So that was I always had envisioned. CA happened and then corporate happened and then MBA happened. But yeah, all in all, I'm very happy how it panned out.
Acha, so you did your CA, then you did your MBA, and then in the MBA you did a 1 year program at IIM Ahmedabad. So why didn't you do the 2 year program?
Yeah, so I had given CAT immediately the next year after I cleared my CA. I got a 93 percentile. Now, a 93 is good enough for good colleges. But I had, you know, at that time, I don't know how what is the process right now, but you had to tick the colleges in the form which you want to apply. Okay. And I had just filled Blackie, like our top six. You know, you have Lucknow and all of these Blackie. You guys, of course, would know. So I didn't get into any of those. At that point of time there were no marks for diversity or something. I had given it way back in 2014, I think. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I've studied enough, let me work for some time, get some experience, and then figure out MBA, and it will happen. But I think in hindsight, I love my decision because when I went into MBA with the corporate experience that I had, I could apply the concepts better and I could understand better also in the class, you know. And I felt that there are pros and cons of both, you know, 2 year and 1 year, of course. But 1 year, I think it was maybe at that point of time it would have made sense. Right now, I feel technology is moving so fast and the syllabus of colleges has not changed much. So if you are not teaching AI and tech and all like really hardcore, by the time you graduate after 2 years, everything has changed. You know, you are like, oh my god, Python is SQL is a, you know, new thing to do. And so, and nobody teaches you that. They teach you management. But so I love the fact that I took workex of, you know, 4 5 years and then I
So
did my
Bhavna, just so I understand, so 2014 you had finished your CA, and then you
uh, November 13 I cleared, Jan 14 I had my result. Yeah.
right. So end of 13 you cleared, and then when did you start your MBA at IIM? Is that 20 or 21?
21, 22,
22. So
21,
after
22.
CA and before MBA, you had like 8 years of experience, corporate experience.
No, six and a half, I would say. Yeah, six and a half, seven, seven. Yes, seven.
Okay. Okay. So walk us through what did you do in those 6.5 years? Because usually I know our channel is called IAM Ke Baad, but you had more than most other IAM graduates. You have a considerable amount of pre IAM experience. So tell us, IAM ke pehle batao हमें.
So honestly, when I went to IIM Ahmedabad, I was not the top higher, on the higher work spectrum. There were people with 10 years, 11 years. There was one guy with 23 years of work ex. So we had people from Navy, we had doctors, we had interior designers, we had fashion people. Like all, the variety was amazing. The diversity was crazy. So I was on the lower spectrum of the work ex actually, because the minimum work ex required for the 1 year MBA is 5 years.
Okay, so
So
you
I
were
had
on the
just
lower spectrum
crossed.
for your 1 year MBA, but overall, when we say
Yes,
MBAs, usually there are a lot of people with 0, 1, 2 years work ex, especially for the 2 year
that
MBA.
is the 2 year. That's the 2 year MBA. Yes,
Yes,
yes, 2 year MBA and ISB both.
right, right. So you were on the lower end, but still you had 6.5 years of experience. So did you work in accounting? Did you continue with your the where you were doing your articleship, or did you change jobs? What did you do after your CA?
So I don't think you'll find a diverse profile as I have. Okay, people they work from a smaller firm, larger, and then they go to an MNC. I did 360 degrees. Okay, so I joined EY after my CA. I joined the international taxation. So I was doing consulting, I was doing arbitration, I was doing litigation for 2.5 years in EY. It was really grueling, but as a first job for a fresher, there can be no better platform, to learn as much as possible, to learn everything about corporate, that EY teaches you the best, I think. I've slept in office. I have had 14 hours, 8 days, 18-hour days. It was insane. By the time I left, I knew that tax is not my calling. I'm a very passionate and enthusiastic person and by nature, and tax does not inspire any of those emotions in me. Okay, so I was like, this is not going to work out for the long term.
In the last 2 decades working with accountants, I know different types of accountants have their peaks and troughs. कि अभी ये चल रहा है तो कभी रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग का वेव चल रहा है, कभी किसी चीज का वेव चल रहा है. टैक्स का कोई वेव और ट्रफ नहीं होता वो. एवरी टाइम टैक्स अकाउंटेंट्स आर ऑलवेज एम्प्लॉयड every year because every year you have to pay tax. There is nothing. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And my concern was I was doing, I was handling really major telecoms based out of US and Europe. But I was looking at assessment years of what 8 and 9 in the year 2015, 2014. I'm like, I don't want to look at past data and do some work, like your tribunals are not, we're just not getting the orders, it's just like case studies after case studies. Yeah, there are people who are passionate about it, like I'd love if you are one of those, but I realized long back that it was not my cup of tea.
Right.
And I'm glad I did, because
So
I
how
think
long
it's
were
good
you
to
at
make
EY? How long were you at EY then?
2 years,
2 years,
two years,
and then you decided
2
tax नहीं
years.
करना, कुछ और करना है.
No, then I decided कि tax, let's do it for some more time, but I wanted more leadership. So leadership has been ingrained in me. I'm a type A person to a fault. Okay, so I was like, I wanted to step up and handle a team now. Now that I've gained some amount of work ex, so I joined a mid-sized firm where I could lead articles of 5 years, five articles or 4 articles. So I wanted a leadership experience. So I joined a mid-size, and it was very different because I was handling MNCs in EY, and then I suddenly had to handle like Reliance and Vodafone and all as clients, and I was like, oh my god, it's such a culture shock, because first culture shock is MNC to mid-size, second culture shock is the client expectations and how they talk to you and how they deal with you. So it was a lot of shock for me, but I really enjoyed it. Again, I left that in 1.5 year.
But Bhavna, give us an
You'll be
example.
surprised.
This is so interesting. Give us an example of your local clients in non MNC.
Nothing. It was just they don't think you're human beings. Very, very bluntly, if I have to say it. They just like want the work done. And the one thing I noticed was, so EY, there was something. ethics was above par, like above everything, and tax, you can settle outside also. So they Indian clients are like, just get it done, jugaad, like India works on jugaad. So why are you extending it? Why are you keeping dates after dates? Just get it done, give him some money and get it done. I was like, that's not my principles don't allow me to do that, so I'm not going to do that. That was a culture shock for me, that how they expected things to happen, even when they knew they were at fault, so that was one learning I had when working with Indian clients. I left the mid-sized firm in about one and a half year. uh, then you'll be surprised what I did. So I heard of this exam called RBI exam. RBI holds annually an exam for manager position. Now, that is the second toughest exam in India after IAS. Okay, I was in a trajectory of my life where I don't want to do tax. I want to do MBA later in my life. Right now, what do I do? I didn't want to go back to Big Four, and industry would have been the same, accounts and finance, and I didn't want to get into that. So I gave the exam, and so around 2.5 lakh people sit for it every year, and there are 120 seats. So you can do the pass percentage ratio, how difficult it was. And probably every IAS person also gives these exams because it's like a backup for them, right? I mean, for 1,000 seats, 10 lakh people, and they also give these PSU exams. So I there are three phases to the exam, and I shockingly in my first attempt I managed to I reached the interview list. I gave my interview at RBI. It was a phenomenal experience sitting in front of the governors and the panelists, and the one person was from the monetary policy, and it was fantastic. I missed the cutoff by 0.75 marks or something. So again, second big failure of my life. In the same year, I had given one more exam, Oriental Insurance. That also happens, and I gave it just for the sake of it. And I topped India in that. Okay. So I was like, okay, might as well take it up and see how that goes. In the meanwhile, I'll keep giving RVI if it pans out, or GMAT, or whatever MBA. So I joined Oriental in the Mumbai regional office in Churchgate, and I was given the responsibility of handling co-insurance of 700 crores portfolio or something. I didn't have insurance background. I had never worked in a PSU. So again, third shock of my life, from working from MNCs, 20-year-olds, to going to mid-size, to going to a PSU, which is like 50-year-old people now. So again, it was very big shock, but loved my Oriental experience also. Like we can talk about it if you want to. And when I was at Oriental, I gave my GMAT, and then MBA happened. I am happened.
So I'm very interested to hear the difference that you had, the experience you had working at ENY dealing with MNCs, and then the experience you had working at SC Mehra dealing with, like, what was the level of clients you were dealing with? Were they shop
Indian.
owners? Were they, say, doctors and architects, like that kind of?
No, no, only corporates. Only
Okay,
corporates.
so you're dealing with
Only
corporates
corporates.
with like 5 to 10 crores in revenue, that kind of scale, or
No, I've dealt with 800 crores revenue. 5 crores was not, we always took, I think 10 crores was the bottom
for
line
SC Mehra.
baseline of what I worked with, to 800 crores also. Yeah, yeah, at
So
SC
even at
Meher.
that
Yeah, yeah.
level, the idea was कि काम खत्म करो, ये क्या कर रहे हो?
Ha, yes, yes,
Even
yes.
at 800 crore
Irrespective
level,
of
that
how
was the
much ever
idea.
you. Yes, yes. Indian clients are, yes, yes. They just want the work done, and they are like, just go and meet the person, go to ITAT, and if you've been to ITAT and these tribunals, yeah, you can reach the income tax office, but there's a certain level of decorum, or which I want to maintain, and I like, because I'd come from EY. I carried those principles with me. I need to have my case studies in order. I had to have my judgments, and I need to have my defense ready. They didn't really care about it. We used to run by our case studies with all of our MNC clients. But here the culture was completely different. They just wanted the work done somehow. It was a very eye-opening experience because it shows how Indian companies work. But it was great. We got some really favorable orders as well, through actually following the
What is
path what we
ITAT?
wanted
Can
to, because
you
we
can
were
you
like,
educate us on that?
ITAT is the income tax appellate tribunal, where once if you get an unfavorable order at the income tax level, you go to the next tribunal to just like fight that order. So that's the next level. It's actually like a proper courtroom kind of a hearing thing. There are people, the witnesses, somebody's typing, and you're giving defense for your client.
Okay, very nice. And you have done those hearings,
Yeah, yeah. I was doing them from my EY days also.
but you're not
So
a
I
lawyer.
got to lead at
But you're
Sorry?
not a lawyer though.
No, you're talking about tax issues, right?
Okay.
So, we have these case studies presented why this section should not have been, why this
And is it
deduction
the
should not
judge
have been
who's making
allowed.
a
That
decision, or is it the income tax officer who's the judge?
the ITAT tribunal, there used to be three panelists, 3 to 4 panelists in the ITAT tribunal.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. And you've done them yourself,
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
And what used to be fees to do an ITAT tribunal, like?
It it used to feel great
Like
at
how
that.
much would SC Mehra charge?
I won't go into the specifics, but it's the as a feeling, if I would say,
Some
like
ranges.
ranges. It depends on the turnover. It actually depends on the kind of penalty, the tax penalty, kind of the reduction or the disallowances which are there in the order. So if your tax penalty is amounting to like 5 crore or something, we would charge 5 to 10% of that. That was how it was modeled after. So it was,
Around 10 lakhs, you would
yeah,
charge.
yeah, yeah.
Around 50 lakhs. Yeah,
Yeah,
10%.
yeah.
Got it.
So it
Yeah.
was quite that ways. But again, if a tax demand is less, we would charge less because the number of sittings is also less, right? So you don't need to go like again and again. The effort is less. It was a great experience, but again, tax was not my passion, so couldn't do too much of it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you do good in taxation.
No,
You have a
really,
bubbly
I
personality.
did,
And I
yeah,
don't think a bubbly personality works in
I'm
the
a
tax.
people person. I'm a communicator. I'm a inspirer, motivator. I'm not a tax person. Keep tax away from me as much as I'm a strategy. I'm a big,
Okay, so you left.
person, not a tax person.
Perfect, perfect. So you left ENY, you left SC Mehra and Associates, and you went to regional accounting.
Yeah.
Regional accounting, the Oriental
Yes.
Insurance Company, right?
Yes. Yes.
So tell me, what was your role at Oriental Insurance?
So, okay, IRDAI, right, the insurance regulator, right? So, insurance,
No, I've only heard the name, but I don't know what they do.
they just regulate. They are like RBI for insurance companies. They make all the policies and all the provisions. Yeah. So all the insurance companies are supposed to have a liquidity ratios, solvency ratio of 2.5, so that you have enough capital to buffer your losses and so forth, right? The claims and your premiums, the kind of ratio. Oriental was facing a lot of losses that time because they had a lot of intercompany receivables and payables in their balance sheets. Again, I'm not going to go too much in detail, and those amounted to almost 700 crores, because of which their solvency ratio was going down. They were losing out on government tenders. New India used to swoop in and take orders. And so my job, primarily apart from the normal accounting, which I didn't do too much, was to reduce that 700 balance and recover money if possible, and increase the solvency ratio so that they could get tenders and the big corporate ones. So so I remember before I had come, they had just lost out on the insurance of the IPL, because of their solvency ratio. Yeah, so New India had got it. So I was like, they were like, or my general manager was like, yeah, we can't let this go on. So please do something. So it was a new world for me because I was in charge of 8 to 9 divisional accountants who were all 55 years old. There was no willingness to work. There was no motivation to work. There was no incentive to work. They did not want to work.
And Oriental Insurance is a government
Yeah, yeah, it's a
organization.
PSU. Yes, yes, yes. So I was
Okay.
like a 20.
Well, maybe, I mean, they have not divested the shares yet.
The government keeps putting money in, but if they keep 10%, government takes it. More. They keep putting money. It's not privatized yet. Neither are they going to do it at all.
Okay, but why have they not privatized this? Doesn't it make
There
sense to privatize Oriental Insurance? It would make sense
No,
to
if you
privatize
look
it,
at
right?
their masses, right, they really subsidize like the insurance. If you go to, and they are Oriental known for motor insurance specifically, right? So if you want to like insure your car, a 13 lakhs car, 20 lakhs car, Oriental rates are much cheaper. But the solvency ratio was impacting them a lot, like, because their ability to pay back those claims was becoming lower because of that solvency ratio, right? So, when I came in, more than doing the work, I had to get the work done from these people who were unwilling to work. So that was my biggest challenge, I think, in 2.5 years of Oriental that I was there. So, and I was used to a process, we have trackers and we have sheets and we have those meetings and bi-weekly and this. So I was like, and it was complete culture shock 360-degree, because there was nothing, there was no process in place, there was no system. There used to be 2.5 hour lunch breaks, and everybody used to pack up by 6 o'clock and go home. So I was like, okay, I need to do something. So it took me 3 4 months to get used to the environment and how they were working. And I used to hold a lot of meetings. So these intercompany balances were with the private insurers like ICICI, HDFC Ergo, Tokyo Life Insurance, Edelweiss Tokyo, all of those. So I used to keep on having meetings with those, and let's get on a call and let's come sit together. Nobody had done this in the past 3 4 years, because of which these balances had piled up. So I was the one taking action. And by the time I left, when I entered, the solvency ratio was 1.4. By the time I left, it had come up to 2.4. So I think I had succeeded in recovering about 450 crores, or reconciling 450 crores of intercompany payables and receivables. So I think that was,
So what I'm most interested to know is how did you get this 55-year-old regional accountants to work for you
yeah.
when there was a completely different culture? What changes did you do to make them
Honestly,
work?
first thing was I befriended them, and it was very difficult for them to take orders from a 25-year-old girl. Yeah, I mean, I know anybody, especially males, and in that kind of environment, it's very difficult. So I used to make it a point to be very polite to them. I used to explain that your promotion is might just get stuck because of this. Like you're not moving to the next level if you don't just dig up the files. I used to constantly follow up every single day, half an hour, 1 hour. I used to handhold them. I tried keeping like weekly meetings. Come and tell me every Monday morning what have you done. Please come and tell me if you have any problems, obstacles. I used to sit late in office till like 8, 9, 10 o'clock to just figure out, because there were physical files which were like 10 years old, and storage system was not too great. It was not everything was electronic at that point of time. So it took a lot of hand holding, lot of motivation, lot of convincing. But I think over a 4 months of me learning, and they used to see that, oh, ICICI is coming to meet us, Edelweiss Tokyo is coming to meet us, so we might as well be prepared with our stuff also. So that kind of gave them an accountability for their actions, which was missing before. So I think that they, so over 10 months I saw a change in the attitude in them in 10 11 months. And they used to come themselves and then tell me, oh ma'am, we have this left and we have this, let's do this. So that I loved seeing. So I think that was a point I realized, that impacting people gives me the biggest happiness ever. Like it genuinely makes me happy. Like corporate work, you can do anything, at the end of the day, it doesn't satisfy your soul. So I was like, but bringing about a change in people and seeing them level up, it really brings me happiness.
So
So
Bhavna,
then
when
I
you
applied to
said
MBA.
Bhavna, when you said 2 3 hour lunch breaks, I immediately visualize government office जहाँ पर ताश चल रही होगी, ठीक है, आराम से phone is off the receiver, is off the hook, और बस काम चल रहा है. Was it too far
Oh
from the
yeah.
truth और ऐसे ही था?
No, it was actually like that, and there were people who used to, prepare their students' class tests in office, and there was suing going on also. I have seen everything, like literally everything at the PSU office, you know. But yeah, I think I got lucky that I had got a good set of divisional accountants, and they were really like they wanted to work after some point of time. So I used to call them back. I was like, 3 3 baj gaye hain, please come back. I need this done. So then they had no option. Nobody was doing that. Nobody was really doing that before. So I was like, I need to get my work done. So before I know you will pack your bags at 5:30, I will stay, but I need some work done at least today.
So what
So yeah, it
inspired
was
you to
actually like.
actually call them back? Did it help that they were probably your father's age and your father had some government office experience? कुछ tips मिले?
No, no. My father has always been. He is. No, yeah. He's always got like awards and all for
Hmm.
his work. So I can't put them in the same category.
Hmm.
These were accountants. So who had started. From they had got promotions over 25 years and had become divisional accountants. Because I had given the All India exam, I had directly had entered. At the age of 25 at a post which was higher above them.
Hmm.
It's just like IAS, and like how you have people who
Yeah.
gradually get promoted and you reach that joint secretary level or something like that, right? It was exactly like that. So but so just I never made it a point. I would never used to give them orders. I used to be like, please, Ajao, I am waiting for you, I have this setup. I have a call and I have this. I used to try my best. I used to call people from other offices to our office at 3:30 so that these people come back on time. By that time. It was a great experience for 2.5 years. It taught me more than how much ever I learned in EY and my SC Mera because that was work, that was corporate, that was processes. Get the work done. You have deliverables and technical. This taught me the human side of working also. Along with people who you might not gel with at any point of time. So different experience.
So then, Bhavna, I've got this question because you know the accounts and the business part of the thing with EY and and now you've got the management skills also. You're managing people, a big team of people who are way older than you. So, Phil, why do you need an MBA after that? Why one more stamp? You've done all your CA, you've done All India Oriental Insurance exam, and एक और एग्जाम क्यों दिया? Why CAT?
Yeah. So the CAT I had given way back. I gave GMAT when I was in Oriental. I told my MBA dream I could not let go. I'm not meant for tax. I'm not meant for Sarkari also. And I tell people very funnily that I'm not a Sarkari person. My dream goal of the CEO was always in the background. In fact, I wanted to do RBI purely because 5 years after working in the RBI, they sponsor your education to Harvard. Okay, and I was like, oh my God, that's it. If I get into RBI 5 years down the line, I'm going to be there. So that was my dream goal. I didn't think too much about my goal was always there. Just means to reach that varied, and it was not a singular path. It kept on like circulating and just deviating. But I think that's what life is, right? You expect something, plan something, you end up somewhere else only eventually.
But why was that your goal? Was it because of the salaries or some other reason? Because usually, I'll tell you, back in the 90s, आई एम अहमदाबाद की एक न्यूज़पेपर हेडलाइन थी कि किसी ने क्रॉस किया था अ 1 लाख पर ईयर सैलरी. Now I'm talking about mid
It was
90s. 1 lakh
good.
per year was like a big ceiling that was broken by a fresh MBA graduate. And I was like, हाँ यार
Correct.
यही करते हैं और कुछ तो लाइफ में होगा नहीं, ये MBA ही करते हैं.
So, yeah, money. If I wanted money, I wouldn't be working in a PSU. मैं EY में 6 साल काम करती मैं डायरेक्टर तक तो बनी जाती AD level senior consultant. AD is like the six
Yeah.
7 years you become AD. But nothing was satisfying my soul. Nothing. I was just not happy, and I really thought, let me achieve my MBA goal. Maybe that will give me the happiness. I don't know. It was just the firstly I had missed college life, right? CA people do not live college life. We have not. We're not stepped.
But Ahmedabad people don't have college life either, right, Bhavna?
बहुत अच्छी थी. It was fantastic. How much ever 1 year we had, it was really, really great. I'm still in touch with all of my Cindy people and all 10. We keep on meeting like twice a year. And it was really great. Yeah, it was not like a different experience only, but it was very different. Like, and I had got married just before joining Oriental. So I went into MBA after being married. So it was again a different experience.
now
My
now
husband.
this is getting complicated. You've done all these exams, you've done CA, you've done a insurance exam, you've been promoted, and you're married. Now you're writing GMAT. अभी भी नहीं समझ आया
Yeah,
मतलब
yeah.
I know you're saying it's about my soul, but मुझे I need a bit more. क्या
You
मतलब
want
what is that reason? See, this is coming from the
why
person मैं
MBA?
2 बार MBA कर चुका हूँ लेकिन मेरे को अभी भी नहीं समझ आ रहा
So if you can't answer it, what are you expecting? But I'll tell you, I could not just let go of my childhood dream. That's it. I was like, let me do that. Maybe I'll be able to make some impact. And I wanted to lead teams. I wanted to drive change. I just wanted to do something very impactful at a large scale. So I'm like, by the time I'm 40, 45, वो हो जाएगा. But MBA मुझे 30 से पहले करना पड़ेगा if I want to really grow. So that was my goal of being into corporate. And recently I wrote a LinkedIn post on how my childhood dream has changed, in the last 2 years. I don't know if you guys read that, but I'll come to that. So again, my life priorities have again changed, at this point. So us time though I could not let go of my childhood dream. I just wanted to stick to it. But that was primarily and getting in and that year I got into all the colleges I had applied for. I got into Ahmedabad, ISB, Bangalore, Calcutta, SPJ. I got into all the 1 year MBA colleges. But when I got into IIM Ahmedabad, I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is it for me, you
And
know.
was it
So
also because
I mean, my
Ahmedabad is close to Mumbai, so you're closer to home because it's the closest
no,
top
no, it's
IIM,
just
right?
no, it's just I am Ahmedabad. That's
Okay.
it. That the brand and the credibility is what I wanted and I was craving for.
Hmm.
Clearly, CCA was not enough. So I was like, my 8-year-old Bhavna is happy now. You know, the 8, 10, 12-year-old Bhavna is happy. Let's see now how life takes us now a little later. But at that,
And did your husband come to live in
yeah, yeah.
Ahmedabad with you for a year because it's a full-time
Yeah, yeah.
program?
So we had taken a 1 BHK and he was in fact there for 4, 5 months at a stretch and then he used to shuffle from Bombay, Ahmedabad. My colleagues know him more than me, you know, because he used to play sports with them. Sports is not my thing. So everybody used to be like, Mukul kahan hai? Like, is he coming for badminton today? I'm like, just text him, you know. I am your colleague and you're not talking, asking me. But yeah, yeah, he enjoyed MBA more than me. He had no assignments, no deadlines, no padai. He was just there enjoying college.
Sorry, I want to get onto the IIM Ahmedabad live, but before that, I still have this burning question. You said you got into all 1 year MBAs. Why only 1 year? Why didn't you even consider the 2 year ones?
I was 28 at that point of time. I
Okay.
was not going to sit in a classroom for 2 years.
Hmm.
And I would probably be on the higher spectrum at that point of time, right? So I didn't want to be like the outlier and searching for a job. And the thing is, the 2 year MBA caters to the entry level jobs more. And I wanted to get into mid management, senior level roles at that point of time. So 1 year MBA just served the purpose.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Now understood.
Did you get to live on campus with your husband, or did you have to live outside campus? So there have been one BHK apartments on campus.
Yes, 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 yes. So we had dorms and a different building for the 1 BHK, but they were like right adjacent to each other. Yeah, yeah, on campus.
So now tell us about your campus life, Bhavna. 1 year May. So both of us, we've done the regular 2 year MBAs, and that too, our experience is quite dated, more than 25 years ago. So tell us how was life because it was your dream, 12-year-old Bhavna's dream to get into do an MBA and you got into your top choice, IIM Ahmedabad. How was it? How was the 1 years, both on the academic front, but I'd like to know about the campus life, about maybe things like placements and partying and everything.
So, yeah, my only issue with I'm Ahmedabad was that it was a dry state, and I'm a really party person. I know it's not a typical CA profile, stereotypical, but I love partying,
Okay.
and
सुना
so
हमने
I was like,
हमने
okay, but
सुना बहुत कुछ है लेकिन मे बी दिस इज यूट्यूब सो यू डोंट वांट टू ऑफिशियली स्टेट दैट आर
no,
यू
no,
स्टिकिंग विद द
I'm
पार्टी
saying I'm a
लाइन
party person. I'm not saying what I did. Yeah, yeah. No, but it was fantastic. IIM was an eye opener. I knew that there would be brightest of the brightest there, but I was not ready to be humbled so soon. You know, the first term itself, it just I think I would have cried twice a week almost in that sitting in my dorm because I was like, oh my god, this is going beyond my head. And there are engineers who know this coding and all, and they were like really way ahead after in all the courses. The few courses which I was really good at, like accounts and corporate finance, and these were like at the back of the hand. So I was the one teaching my Cindy people, you know, and what is finance, what is debit and credit. So which we had learned like in 11th standard. So that was fun. My Cindy was fantastic, and you want to know about the experience.
You said My Cindy. What is My Cindy?
I'm Ahmedabad forms a Cindy of 10 random people, and that's a group. You are supposed to be with your Cindy for the rest of the year. Like, and you'll be doing all group assignments together and sitting in all classes together until the last sem where you choose your electives, and then you can decide, you know, where you want to go.
And so this group of 10 people is called as, how do you
Call it
spell it? Can you
syndicate.
spell it
We
for
used to
me?
call it
Cindy?
Cindy.
Syndicate. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there were, it's strange because they used to make sure they had one marketing person, one tech, one finance, and one diverse people in every, you know, Cindy that they created. I was the only CA, and I was the only person having a 1 BHK in the entire Cindy. Like everybody had taken the bachelor dorms. Even few of them were married, but still they had taken bachelor dorms. So, all the parties were at my MSH only. So, my place was like the place to party. It was crazy experience, like, but And my Cindy was little on the higher age spectrum also. So we had people from 25 years to 42, 43 years old. So and you know there how there are series and you have speakers, you have like secretary of the series and you have presidents of club. So we had the recruitment secretary in my Cindy. I was the speaker series secretary, and there was one more person who was another the alum secretary. So we had three high profile people in my Cindy, you know, very powerful Cindy, we used to call it. The fantastic experience with them. Yeah.
So is it true that there is no liquor available in Ahmedabad?
There is no liquor available in Ahmedabad. There are means to get it.
Means to get it. Okay, good. So
But
so
but
that
it is available on license. Like you can go and stay in ITC or any hotel, and there are license shops under that. You go get a license made that you're staying in the hotel. You come from outside of Gujarat, and you'll get your liquor. It's all legal.
okay, okay. So and how was the placements at IMA?
Placements were fantastic. In fact, ours was the batch where Microsoft took the maximum people in our year. They took like six people. Normally, they hire about two. They said, and Microsoft said this that this is the most academically inclined 1 year MBA program we have come across in the last decade. So my batch was very inclined, and we had IITNs, we had NITNs, we had 13, 14 CAs in our batch. It was fantastic. So we had a lot of consulting companies also. We had Adani who picked up 13, 14 people from our batch. We had Accenture. We had BCG. BCG came for the Philippines office. They came for the Malaysia office. They came for the Singapore office. A lot of consulting, a lot of startups, sort of fintech, sort of prod man roles. It was a mix of everything.
And what was the average salary?
40, I think.
Is that Bhavna? Is that too much different? Because a lot of your class would be experience. As you said, 6.5 years was at the lower end of the experience. So, is an average salary of 40, was it too much better than what most people were earning before their MBA?
So, good question. So it depends. So 20% of the batch comes from PSUs, which included me as well. Okay. So they had a higher delta, at least for us, when in terms of incoming and the outgoing salaries, right? Because PSUs we did not get too much in hand, but we had a lot of other non-monetary benefits. As you know, PSU people giving, we used to have I used to have a house. They had given me a house from Oriental in Bombay to stay. So I was not paying rent for that 2.5 BHK. So that technically that was like free, you know. So they used to get a lot of non-monetary benefits, but the in hand were used to be less. So I think in terms of that 20% batch, yeah, the incoming to outgoing delta was high. But for the others, yeah, I mean, it was. See, people sit for the job description and the role that they're aspiring for. We were always told one thing that you can either, there are four things in a, you know, any job that you get. It's either a role or the package or the industry or the location. You'll have to compromise in either one or two or more of these, right? So you don't get everything, you don't get all the four things. So you apply only where you want to, you are fit to apply. So that's how people applied also. BCG Philippines and Malaysia came at a package of 1.3 crore for their Philippines and Singapore office. So there were people from there was the ZS people have gone there. So it was their choice. It
And
was
these
that
consulting
was the
firms and these placements, are they lateral placements or is it the common MBA entry level placements?
no lateral. All senior to mid level management.
Got it. Okay.
So from after during placements, you got into Accenture,
Yeah,
correct?
Accenture strategy.
And that's like day zero, right? Or if I don't know if Ahmedabad is day
Actually,
minus one.
funny, one more story. So I was the first person to get placed in the batch. So I they came on day zero. I had my interview at 8 o'clock in the morning. 10:30, I had my offer letter. I was the first person to get interviewed, and I had to decide whether I'm accepting or not. It was so early, and I was like, I was discussing with my husband, what do we do? And I wanted to go into consulting. I want to go into strategy and transformation only. I was very sure about it. I was like, let's take it up because I had applied for a very few roles because I was sure of only taking up Mumbai roles. I did not want Delhi. I didn't want Bangalore. I only wanted Mumbai. So Mumbai, I felt Accenture was the best.
And you did not want to leave the country to say Singapore and stuff?
No, no, absolutely not. I can't do household chores. I can't.
No, but Singapore, like I have some friends in Singapore. One of the advantages of Singapore over, say, London or US is that you get household
I know.
people like
I
Singapore,
don't know.
Dubai, you
Once
get
you have
household.
stayed in Mumbai for 25 years, you cannot leave it. It's impossible to leave this city. It's too much here.
And so, Bhavna, so Accenture and all these consulting firms, like you were saying, they're hiring because fresh MBAs used to be, I remember, hired at A1 or A2 level, analyst level, and then consultant, and then manager. So for your batch, they would be hiring at straight at manager level or senior manager.
No, so I was hired as a consultant, but because it was a tech strategy, it was already so we used to have associate analyst, senior analyst, and then consultant. I think there are different tiers for every function of Accenture, maybe. So in the strategy, the tech strategy vertical that I had gone to, their consultant was like the senior mid level management, I would say.
Okay, okay. So must have changed because I used to be in Accenture, but that was 20 years ago. So things change.
Yeah, a lot of it. TSA was not there 20 years ago. It didn't exist only. Like the tech strategy arm did not exist.
Yes. And Accenture was tech strategy. Accenture was entirely tech strategy. It's not a
Yeah,
norm.
yeah, it was completely. Yeah, yeah, I know, but they have really revolutionized their model now, and more on strategizing and delivering, which the other consulting companies were not doing at that point of time. So BCG and MBB were all just making fancy decks and execution was left to the management. But Accenture was giving like an end-to-end model of where we'll execute for you also and we'll deliver also.
Got it.
So that was a different model that they came up with.
So I see that your career at Accenture was very short. You were only there for a year and 5 months. Can you explain what made you not, build, say, a decade over there?
Not spend a decade. Oh, okay. So I was not looking for a job change when I joined City. City just came. I was loving the work that I was doing at Accenture because I loved handling multiple projects at one point of time. I was working directly with the partners. They really respected the background that I had because there were not a lot of finance people in the tech world, and the work that they were doing required a lot of fintech strategy and finance cost transformations also, which tech people were not understanding. So I brought a lot of value to the table, and that's why I was working directly on a lot of big clients. I was working with an asset management company in US or insurance company in Europe. I actually helped build a metaverse business model also and how they could monetize it for a Dubai client. Fantastic experience. It exploded in our faces thanks to Mark Zuckerberg. But yeah, that 1 year of working on the metaverse project was fantastic. I actually had planned to stay there for a long time, but I realized that. At Accenture, you are very this consulting world, right? Does not give you in-depth knowledge about any industry. You're moving from a telecom to an insurance to an asset management to a infrastructure supply chain industry. You're not getting to know the ins and out. We get to see a bit of a problem in that industry and that company, but not why that decisions are being taken for those companies. So that's why when City came, I felt that it's good time to make a transition into industry and learn about one industry as a whole. That was my only reason, yeah.
So you were telling us that your work with Accenture was very interesting because you brought a lot of accounting knowledge, and partners and others didn't have that accounting knowledge. So your work at Accenture is very interesting, but still your career there is short. So what made you move?
So yeah, it's just that I was working with a lot of industries, but I was not getting an in-depth exposure into one particular industry. And I realized by so much time in corporate that if you want to really excel in something, you need to build expertise in an industry, right? So you were working at Accenture, working with telecom clients, asset management, insurance, sometimes a supply chain provider as well. But I wanted that in-depth expertise. So, and I was not looking out for a job, very honestly. So when City came, I had a very heart to heart with my partner also, my managing partner who hired me, and he was like, he tried really hard to retain me, but I was like, it's just maybe I think it's for the better. Maybe I can come back later, after a few years, after I gain that kind of knowledge to maybe help you build on that vertical. But right now, I feel I need to build on my knowledge and my industry base to get an expertise.
So tell me this. You said you were not looking for a job, but City reached out to you. How did that reach out happen? Did it happen? You
Yeah,
just get a phone call
yeah,
from a
yeah. I
placement
got a call
consultant,
from
or
City directly. So my resume was always on Naukri, right? We always have it updated and we always uploaded it. So I think, yeah, that's how they reached out to me directly. It was not a third party. They reached out directly only, the HR.
okay, okay. So you joined City, and at the same time, you also started doing this 1 year MBA. We were counseling
Oh
others
yeah,
how to get
so
through the
I
1 year
forgot
MBA
about that.
program, right?
So when I was in IMM, we all had started this program called Paid Forward Program. So we were not charging anything for it. It was just free of cost, and we just really publicized it on LinkedIn and social media. If you're applying for an MBA and you want some career advice, or where are you in your GMAT journey, we'll help you, and which college to join, what's the process, and all of that. And I used to hold those sessions during my IIM Ahmedabad also, and we used to tell them, if you loved our session, you just donate this amount of money, how much ever you want to some charitable organization of your choice. That's all we did. So we just like paying it forward, and we got alums to join it. It became really huge. That made me realize that mentoring is where I shine. And they used to love talking to me so much that they used to like, are you really having services? Like, can we sign up with you? And I had not even become an alum yet. Okay. So immediately when I graduated, I was like, I need to start doing this like formally. So I started with like half an hour sessions, but they all started asking for essay writing and resume drafting and interview preparation also. So I was like, let me formalize this. Then I built my website, got it built, named it the 1 year MBA, and that's how it started.
And was City okay with you doing something
Accenture
else
was
on the
very
side?
okay. City is also very okay as long as you disclose it. Accenture was very, very supportive. My managing partner
Okay.
used to like all my posts, and he used to be like, oh wow, he was very fascinated by it.
Oh, very good, very good. So right now you're doing basically juggling two balls. You have the Citibank job, which is a full-time job, and you have the 1 year MBA. How many hours do you end up giving to the 1 year MBA
So
startup
it's a
of yours
seasonal
each
cycle,
week?
right? Like the admissions now, round one is just going to start. So I think I start taking serious candidates from May onwards. May onwards, it starts trickling in, and it's a lot. It's very hectic till December. Then again, Jan to May is like a lull period. People are preparing for the GMAT and still figuring out. So I just take my half an hour sessions with them. But yeah, May to December is when I sit and work with candidates for their interview process. So I give about, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours per candidate. I think that would be my estimate. Yeah, I think that's how much I give per candidate.
But how much time are you giving each week? What
Okay,
I'm
so
trying to understand,
yeah,
Bhavna, like,
I
look,
think about it. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. I'm trying to read you. I'm trying to understand who Bhavna is because you're too much. भावना is too much. भावना ये भी करती है, भावना
I
वो
was
भी
never
करती है, भावना ये भी करती है. तो मैं लास्ट में पूछने वाला हूँ अपने हस्बैंड
Oh,
को कितना
I
टाइम देती हो.
have
सिटी बैंक को
compromised my interest.
40-50 घंटे देती हो, 1 year MBA को 20 घंटे देती हो, तो
No,
हस्बैंड के लिए तो कोई टाइम ही नहीं बचा.
so
परिवार के लिए
I
क्या
think I'm
टाइम
very
है?
fortunate. My husband has been my biggest cheerleader in all of my entire journey, and nothing would have happened, of course, if his support was not there. He is a consultant. He's also a CA. He has his own consulting firm, and he's also a partner in a fintech firm as well. So he's an entrepreneur. He doesn't have a schedule. So he wakes up and spends time with me as per my schedule, and we travel also. Yeah, we travel also a lot. So I think my city starts from 1 p.m. onwards because I work on NAM timings. So my mornings are free. So I take few calls. I do few essay drafting. I do few interview sessions, mock 1 or 2 interview sessions in the morning. So couple of hour goes there. Weekends I try to put like 4 5 hours. How much ever I can for my this. Yeah, that's about it. And yeah, it happens.
What do you mean by NAM timings? I'm sorry, I left
US,
India
US,
25 years
North
ago.
America,
So,
North America. So my
oh, North
is
America. Okay,
US.
cool. So you work with City on NAM timings, so North American timings. So you must be working nights
I
then.
work till 10:30, 11. I'm home by 11 most probably. Yeah. And we have few calls. If
Acha,
we
but
have calls, then I take it from home. Otherwise, I don't. I tell them it's too late. City is
okay.
fantastic.
Okay, so you're working East Coast timings, not West Coast
Yeah, yeah,
timings.
East
Because
Coast. Yes.
that, huh.
New
Okay,
York.
very nice. Now,
Most of
what
my people.
New York timings? Yeah. So what work are you doing for Citibank?
I started, so okay, city is undergoing a major transformation. They got a Fed order from in 2020 from Fed that their processes have a lot of lapses in controls and a lot of gaps are there. So they started a transformation team and they hired a lot of people since 2020 to address that consent order and those gaps and deliverables and to overhaul their entire system, right? So I was part of the transformation team until recently. I got promoted last month only. So 1.5 year in that transformation role, I was overhauling processes, bringing about controls assessment and changes, working. It was actually driving change and transformation in entire city across the risk teams, across the teams who have inputs into the forecasting and the balance sheets and how their numbers are being calculated. There were gaps. So we were chosen, to drive that change. So process improvement, process enhancement, digital transformation, there was a lot of automation also going on. So little bit of everything is what I did. Right now I am in risk management. I'm hardcore into LOD function. We call it line of defense, where we are supposed to do testing of the work that is being done. So I'm
Okay,
side of
very nice, very nice, very nice. And tell us about the 1 year MBA. So I have the website open here, and in this 1 year MBA, you have many services. Now, how will someone engage with you? Do they come and they say, Bhavna, I want to do this 1 year MBA? Miglani, maybe you can project it on the screen. And they say they want to do this 1 year MBA, and you have essay and resume writing, interview preparation, and MBA mentorship. You can tell them, look, you can get into these are the MBA programs. Maybe you can look at their career. Maybe you can look at their scores, and you can tell them, like, see, this is what you can target. So that's a lot of value because I can. When I wish I had that. It would have
so
been life changing for me
I don't know
because
if you have gone through my
well,
LinkedIn profile or not, but most of my clients come through LinkedIn. I have tagged my website, on my LinkedIn
okay,
profile. They visit my website, there's a contact us page, or they DM me on LinkedIn itself, and I take it forward from there.
sure.
I get my all my queries on my email box directly from this website also. So these are two channels. So the more I post and more active I am on LinkedIn, more I get people, I've been a little lazy in the last couple of months, but before that, I was posting regularly. A lot of a lot of my posts have gone viral, and so I had a lot of requests in the past year. I held a few workshops also, like what is the 1 year MBA program. My idea when I started this was to spread awareness about the 1 year programs. You know how exactly you guys didn't know, right? Like there is a 5 year
Sure.
requirement to enter,
Yeah.
and there's a GMAT process. It's not an executive MBA, it's a full-time MBA where there are placements and you live on campus. So I did a lot of workshops and webinars for candidates who signed up with me for those. So that's primarily how I've been doing it.
Sure, no, this is a very valuable service. Like if I had a close friend of mine or my relative in the mid 20s and said, Ki, I have some years of work experience. I want to do a 1 year MBA. What should I do? And I'll tell him that, look, I don't know much, but Bhavna
Yeah.
knows. Like, go talk to Bhavna, get a consulting session with her because this seems very valuable. Like what you can tell them in a couple of hours that can
Correct, correct,
change the
correct. And I
trajectory of
think
their
by
life
now
actually.
it's by word of mouth only a lot. A lot of my everybody knows I'm doing it, so I think by word of mouth I get a lot of requests now. And I have to update these
Very
testimonials. These
nice.
are old, but I've got some new, I think 28, 29 testimonials on LinkedIn now. I have to ask my developer to update this.
Very nice. Very nice. No, this is good job. This is very, 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 very good. So tell me this: how much do you charge people
Oh
for
my
these
God,
services? The
I don't
services
want to
mentioned over
say.
here. No, that's okay. If you don't want to say, you don't have to say it.
Okay.
Like,
Um,
that's not
it's a so I give packages, right? I give one school package, two school, three school, four school. I take it up. There are people who signed
okay.
up with me for six schools also because their GMAT was a 650 or a
Okay.
660. Like they wanted I'm Ahmedabad, but it's quite improbable that you will get I'm Ahmedabad with that score, right? But one of my candidates, she was a 660 GMAT. She got into I'm Ahmedabad on the third round that she applied, and she got into all the six colleges that she had worked with me for. And so It was phenomenal.
Wow. So you're able to add that much value just in how you
Yeah.
present the candidate. It's like literally you're presenting a product to the selection
See,
committee, and the selection
I've
committee
realized
needs to
one
like the
thing after
product.
giving so many interviews with the B schools, that all they're looking for are few basic things. They're looking for authenticity. You do not have
Yes.
to save millions of rupees. That every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing in corporate nowadays. Like literally, you don't have to build so much revenue. You have to show them what kind of person you are. How exactly you told me you're trying to understand me as a person. They are also trying to fit pieces of puzzle of who is Vikas or who is Manish. And the more stories you give them, storytelling is my forte. Nobody does it better than me. Okay, I'm just going to be not even humble about it anymore. Okay, so I think storytelling is what I believe in, and what I tell all of my candidates, that you get this one skill and it'll help you throughout your life. So I help them become good storytellers about the work that they have done. Not that they have done saved this much rupees, but the kind of impact that they had, and what that experience taught them and what they learned from it. I think that has been the key differentiator in my candidates so far, and I'm in touch with all of them after their MBA also. Like I
So Bhavna, you were saying that 660 doesn't get in IIM Ahmedabad. So what's the current uh, score that will get someone into an IIM Ahmedabad or any of the top IIMs, Blackies?
So it's a very it's not a one cut answer, because a lot depends on your profile as well, right, and the number of work weeks that you
But
have.
what's the
If
range?
Yeah. So if you have like I think average is 700, 690 to 700. Then it goes up to 740, 750, of course. Yeah. So my
Okay,
batch had a
740,
really,
750. Will that be like typical IIT engineer? तो सबका ही 750
yeah,
आ रहा है तो
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
ओके ओके एंड सीएस का क्या रेट चल रहा है आजकल जीमैट स्कोर
See, I got a 700,
ओके
but 700, 710. Yeah, I think 710 तक मैंने
सो
देखे
सिक्स
हैं.
सिक्सटी में सीएस का भी नहीं होगा 660 में किसका होगा इंग्लिश ऑनर्स टॉपर
No, the girl who got in was from a real estate marketing background. So they love diversity also, right? And see, it's all about how you present yourself. A 750 IITN will not make it if you don't present your story well. But
राइट
a 660 is a 6 years of work ex, and the kind of enthusiasm and the passion you show in the interview, you will make it. It's all about how you present your story and how good of a storyteller you are at
राइट
on that day.
And Bhavna, since you are in this field and you've been observing it pretty closely, there's some comments that we've indirectly heard is that IIMs want more, like you said, diversity, but gender
Yeah.
diversity and all that, obviously course diversity. So do you think they lower the bar for some people? Like for is the bar lower for women? Everything else being equal.
Absolutely not. I mean, if that was the case, it out of 140 batch, just we wouldn't have 23 girls only, right, in the
Is
batch.
that
I
it?
mean, yes, if that was, and they're trying to get it up to 30%, 35%, and they take pride in that also. But I was like, you can do much better. I mean, yeah, less girls would be applying, I'm sure, because India, of course, still a patriarchal society, and the number of girls who apply for an MBA after working for 6, 7 years would be very less, right? So
Yes.
your sample size decreases, but
Because
still,
we recently heard that I am Bangalore for the full time 2 year MBA. They this year or last year they did a 50% women.
oh, fantastic!
So,
If
so
that's the case.
and again and this is where some of my thing because people were indirectly insinuating that the bar must be way lower. Otherwise, how would you get 50% women in the batch?
There is you get 5 points for diversity, okay, in your final score. I think I'm Bangalore has the diversity factor, but please understand the kind of struggles we all come from also, right? And those 5 points will not make it or break it unless you have done the other hard work as well. Unless you have, it can't be you've got a 92 percentile and you're competing with the 99 percentiler and you will still make it. No, you just get 5 points. So
And five out of how many? Out of
I think it's a out of 100 only, or some out of. I'm not too much aware of the 2 year MBA programs. I don't. That's
right.
not my market. But I know there's a diversity. You get 5 points for diversity.
So Bhavna, I read your LinkedIn post where you wrote that 12 साल की भावना का
Yeah.
जो प्लान्स था, अब 32 साल की भावना के प्लान्स अलग हो
Yes.
गए, राइट? एंड आई डोंट थिंक uh, I can explain it with the passion that I think you can explain it. So why don't you tell it to the audience? Ki what is, because I see so much for you in your future. You have such a bubbly personality. You're so optimistic. Like I literally want to keep talking, and usually I don't want to keep talking, but I want to keep the interview going. But our editors tell us that no, an hour is the limit. But so you explain in your words with your passion, what is this new dream of
So when I
yours?
was small, I told you, right, I wanted to become CEO of a large organization, and all I dreamt was, wearing power suits and walking in with confidence and just firing CFOs and CMOs or left, right, center and getting the work done. Why haven't you done this? That was a young version of me, and I wanted a corner office and all of that. Having been in corporate for 10 years, I have realized that. The impact that you create does not come from titles. That's my first learning. Okay, whether you are entry level or you're a CEO, you can create impact at any level. I believe even if you can get the work done or make someone feel better or just like work on their strengths to get the work done from them, that's a huge impact itself, right? um, and I have been traveling a lot over the, say, after my marriage we have been traveling a lot after COVID actually. And traveling made me realize that maybe we are really not meant to be sitting in cubicles for 14 hours a day. It breaks my heart when I'm sitting in a, I was on a cruise sometime back in Bali, and I was like, I don't want to go back. How much ever I want to be CEO, I don't want to go back. So
But what if the people at Citibank listen to this
it's
podcast?
okay. They
I'm sure
know.
they have read your LinkedIn
No,
post.
no, it's absolutely okay. They know that, I mean, everybody, I want to work, but I don't aspire for the CEO of an MNC title anymore. I want to work as much as possible, but I want to work on things which gives me joy and happiness. Like, I would rather take my laptop out in the ocean and sit there and work and, mentoring children, maybe full time or doing something else, which really leaves my soul satisfied than sit in a cubicle for 18 hours a day for the next 20 years of my life. I want to work a lot, but at the age of 50, I hope I'm not doing that. Yeah, so
Good.
that's how my
I can see that your boss and the seniors will not feel threatened. उनको तो अच्छा ही है, ठीक है, मेरी जॉब के पीछे नहीं है. Yeah. But Bhavna, one thing struck me that 12-year-old
Absolutely right,
Bhavna,
Priyanka.
you had dreams of being CEO, CTO, CFO. मतलब मुझे तो ऐसे लगता था कि टिपिकल 8-year-old का एम्बिशन होता है, आई विल बी आइसक्रीम पर्सन, आई विल बी आइसक्रीम मैन, आई विल बी ट्रेन ड्राइवर, बस ड्राइवर. 12-13 ईयर तक लोगों को आता है कि आई वांट टू बी इंडियन आइडल सिंगर डांसर एक्टर, किसी किसी को डॉक्टर टीचर बनने का आ जाता है, लेकिन सीईओ तो मैंने पहली बार सुना है. 12 साल का बच्चा सीईओ.
I don't know where it came from, So that's what when I try to remember, I don't know what was the planting seed of that thought in my head. But I always had just one dream. I never wanted to go to NASA or Indian Idol. And I am trained in 7 forms of dance, by the way. But I that is something I don't want to pursue my career in. Never wanted to. I always wanted a respectable job. I always wanted to be the confident corporate person, and I am that. But that's not the end goal anymore. It has shifted, and I want to do something which gives me passion. In fact, I started a foundation recently in my niece's name. It's called the Viana Foundation. There is a website where I'm trying to educate girls a lot. So I'm trying to fund
Spell it for me, please.
VIAANA, vianafoundation.com.
That's a very nice name your niece has. इसका माने क्या
It
होता है?
means hope. So I thought it would be apt. She was born when I was in I'm Ahmedabad. I was like, let's do this. I always want to do this. Let's just
Viana is Viana. हिंदी में इसका मतलब होप होता है.
Yes, it means hope.
तो मेरी हिंदी अच्छी है तो मैंने वियाना
But
बोल
I'm
दिया
full
समझ
of
के.
life and bringing hope.
Very nice. Very nice.
So
Why did you start with the name of your niece?
just I had thought of starting a foundation someday, and she was born when I was in I'm Ahmedabad. I was like,
So yeah, this is very beautiful website.
Yes, so we have just started it. Like I was already sponsoring education of few of my, like the household helps children and all, but I want to expand and like make it little better. I mean, it's still, I think the numbers are still fuzzy here, but yeah, we are working on
Sure.
it.
No, this is beautiful. This is great work.
This is just like one page. It's still in the works.
Yes. Yeah. I see that your husband is not part of it. What will it take to get Mukul to be on this
He
Vienna
did the,
Foundation by Mukul and you?
he did the entire compliance work. He got the company set up, Section 8, all of that he takes care.
Very nice. Very nice. No, I think children are beautiful. What about your own children? When are they coming?
Controversial topic. We don't want. We are
Hmm.
very happy.
Acha.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm sure you're very happy. And I think I lived for a long time thinking like that.
Oh, is it?
And yeah, I lived for a long time thinking like that. And I had some of my best friends live a long time thinking like that. But then I had my daughter, and one day I have this funny habit, when I'll be walking, I'll put my hands like this. Just अपने पेट के ऊपर, I'll just put my hands like this and I'll walk and I'll talk. And my partner at that time pointed out, she took a picture of us, and Vanya, my daughter, and I, we were both walking like this and we were talking.
So you got a mini
And she
you.
was like
You got a mini
4 years old at the
Yeah.
time. Huh. So when you see your reflection in a human being, that does something to you. There's some weird things about me that I couldn't make sense. I thought, ये मेरी खराब आदत है, कहाँ से आई है ये आदत, क्यों आई है? And then I see the same in my daughter, and then I realize कि नहीं, ये मेरी आदत नहीं है. This is how I'm made. This is my genetics. Like जैसे my daughter is very single focused. उसको कुछ कर रही है तो she can't be disturbed to do. She can't multitask. I can't multitask. And I thought maybe I can learn multitask. But then it is no. This is a reflection of me.
She
Your child is
will
a
learn to
reflection.
multitask. She's a female. It's ingrained in her.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And so seeing your own reflection in a human being, see, every child is beautiful, and I completely understand this viewpoint that my friend had, and probably you have, that look, there's so many other children I can take care of. Why do I need to have my own? Right? But but you deny yourself one of the most profound experiences of life if you don't allow yourself to see your reflection in a human being, and also the possibility of shaping the life of your own reflection. Like I'm getting to have, my parents brought me up in a particular way, and I get to bring up my own children in my particular way. So uh, take it from someone who is 15 years ahead of you in life, right? And
But Bhavna, मुझे एक चीज बताओ. What Vix is saying, don't you aren't you still hearing this from your parents and from your in-laws and everything?
आई डोंट थिंक शी इज हियरिंग इट दैट लॉजिकल. नहीं, देखो यार, देखो, अब मैं जैसे भावना ने बोला ना, शी इज द बेस्ट स्टोरी टेलर. केडिया इज डीएमएल एट आई एम बैंगलोर. ओके, तो मैं जितना लॉजिकली समझाऊंगा, वो पेरेंट्स तो बोलते हैं बेटा पोता चाहिए, पोती चाहिए, बेटा बच्चे कब होंगे, बच्चे उनके संग खेलना है,
Set up one
वो समझ
more,
में नहीं आता है.
set up one more hour call with you. I will convince you not to have kids. Nobody has been able to convince me till date.
Let's do it in the
Very
next
logic.
5 minutes. If you have a good argument, you can do it in 5 minutes. You don't need a whole an hour. Okay, I give you a challenge. Explain it to me in
There
five
is there
minutes.
is no logic first of all to have kids. There are emotions. There is no logic. There is no logical reason to have a kid. Absolutely not. I don't want to
No,
put
you're just making a statement that
no.
doesn't have any. You're just saying कि logic नहीं है, emotion है. अरे भाई, मैंने इतना अच्छा logic दिया. You get to see your own DNA
That's
expressed
emotion.
in a
That's
human
emotion.
based on what you think today. But I think your thoughts will change when you're in your 50s, 60s, and 70s.
50s, 60s and 70s. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, yeah, there's a long way to go. आजकल तो लाइफ का पता ही नहीं है कुछ कहाँ चली जाती है. Life passes by so soon.
See, but the thing is, so now we're coming back. See, 32-year-old Bhavna has a very different opinion from 12-year-old. What Vikas is saying is that 52-year-old will have a very different view than 32-year-old, but then at that time, in certain things like this, you will not have a second option. You can't go back to being 32, even if you decide कि गलती कर दी
Absolutely
बस.
agree. I would rather regret not having kids than regret having. I don't want to waste 20 years of my life not living my life to my potential, becoming 50-year-old and realizing, oh, मैंने काश ये नहीं किया होता, या my life would have been so different had I not have a kid. So if at that point I'm regretting I don't have a kid, I'll be fine. I hope my foundation works so that I'll be able to surround myself by children if
Beautiful,
at that time I
beautiful,
want
Bhavna. I
to.
think that's a it's a
But
beautiful
I
emotion. I
think
think.
like if I can educate, like I'm in Rajasthan, my in-laws are in Udaipur. So the house help who comes, she brings her daughter along, and I strictly told her, "You get your daughter here one more day, I will send you to jail." She's in 12th standard. I was like, I'll fund her education, let her study, because Rajasthan में तो सबसे ज़्यादा है ये this getting girls married at 15, 16. So it really pissed me off, and that's when I realized कि this is more impactful than raising one child. So I would rather do that at a large scale. It's okay if
भावना, राजस्थान में तुम कहाँ से हो? तुम्हारा परिवार कहाँ से है राजस्थान में?
I am from Delhi, Gurgaon, my parents, but Mukul is from Udaipur.
मुकुल समुद्र।
I'm Punjabi,
ठीक है।
he's Marwadi. Yeah.
अच्छा, मुकुल मारवाड़ी जानता है?
थोड़ी थोड़ी हाँ हाँ little bit. I तो don't know anything.
मुकुल के संग एक मारवाड़ी में पॉडकास्ट करेंगे, ठीक है? मैं मारवाड़ी में बात करूंगा।
If you enjoy talking to me, you will not let him go. Absolutely.
अच्छा,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
अच्छा,
Yeah, yeah.
good,
He's in a pod.
good.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, very good talking to you, Bhavna. I think your personality shines through even on the camera. I'm sure in real life you're even more wonderful. I do want you to know that Miglani funds a lot of foundations and startups, so please be in touch with him. And one of the good friends Miglani has is this girl called Sweta Sharma. Sweta Sharma, right? Miglani, you're saying this?
Yeah, she was our classmate, both of our classmate, and she's
Yeah, and she runs a foundation, so maybe you can we can connect you. You can get some ideas. And anytime you visit London, please contact Miglani. Anytime you're in San Francisco, contact me.
This year, I haven't been there so far, but I am planning to this year. I will definitely contact you.
well. I'm sure you're doing 4 countries a year, so that number will come soon.
We're trying, yes.
Mm. So I enjoyed this conversation, Miglani, and
I love it.
Before we head.
It was amazing talking to you both. And I told this the first time.
नहीं नहीं, हमारे बारे में नहीं, कुछ व्यूअर्स को लास्ट मैसेज
So,
देना है।
okay.
अरे यार हमारे बारे में भी बोल लेते थे यार at the age of 47 which 32-year-old woman says it was amazing talking to
It
you.
was
It never happens.
पहले मैं आपके बारे में बोल देती हूँ and then I'll come back to the viewers. So, um, one of my bucket list items is to start a podcast. So when Vikas came up to me and told me that I got so excited because I'm like, it's so courageous of you guys to do all this and to spread out word about and especially because you are focusing on the life and you're getting to know as a person. Not many podcasters do that. They focus on one topic and they talk on that, not as a person as a whole. So that is something I would love to aspire to do, and then I'm going to call you both also. So if at all I start a podcast, but it was fantastic, and you guys do not seem your age, by the way. Like I was not expecting it to be,
Ah,
I was not expecting it
uh,
to be so conversational, and you guys are such fantastic listeners. I mean, I can blabber all day, but you have to be really good listeners for that. So you guys were amazing.
thank you.
Final word for the viewers: don't plan your life, just take it day by day and just try to find something you're passionate about, and I think that is enough. That's what life is. It's uncertain, it's ups and downs, and it's how you take one in each case. And don't be afraid of failure. I still am. It's still my biggest fear. Try not to be afraid of failure and just keep taking life as day one day at a time. That's it.
So life one day at a
Very well
time,
said,
Bhavna. That,
Bhavna.
yeah.
Very well said. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming on our show. And on that note, just telling our viewers that we are back. We took a couple of weeks of break, and now we are back. We're doing every week one guest. Today we had Bhavna, but keep in touch, and we and like this video if you did like it, but more importantly, follow and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and see you next week.